In previous section we have learned the concept of osmoregulation, and in this section we will discuss this topic in detail. So osmoregulation in plants, and on the basis of osmoregulation there are four types of plants, namely hydrophytes, halophytes, mesophytes and xerophytes, and each of these type we will discuss in detail. The first is hydrophytes. Hydro means water and phyte means plants. So those plants which are found in the fresh water are called hydrophytes, which are partially or completely submerged. Partially submerged plants are those which are found below and above the water surface. This is the water surface, and the partially submerged plants are found below and as well as above the water surface. These are called partially submerged plants, and the completely submerged plants are those which are found only below the water surface, that is inside the water. They are called completely submerged. The characteristic of these plants is based on the fact that as these plants have plenty of water supply, so the transpiration rate is high. In fact, all the characteristics present in these plants is to promote water loss. In this way, the first one is that the stems and leaves of these plants lack cuticle. Cuticle is the outer covering present in plants which inhibit transpiration, but as these plants have no cuticle, that is external covering, hence transpiration can take place easily. The second one is that they have numerous large stomata and present on the upper surface of leaves to promote water loss, that is transpiration. And the third one is that they have a large leaf surface area, and higher the leaf surface area, the higher the rate of transpiration. Example is water lily. Water lily is a partially submerged plant. Here's the figure. You can see that there is a leaf present with a high leaf surface area, and higher the leaf surface area, higher is the rate of transpiration. Also, the stomata are present on the upper surfaces of leaves, and these plants, the stems and leaves of these plants lack cuticle. Halophytes. Halo means salt and the phyte means plant. So the plants which are found in the salt marshes near sea are called halophytes. The characteristics of these plants are different, and we will discuss here. This is the soil surface and this is the halophyte. These are the roots of the halophyte. As these plants are found in salt marshes, so there is a large quantity of salt present in the soil. These roots absorb actively salt in their roots, so the cell become hypertonic. As the cell become hypertonic, the surroundings become hypotonic, and the water will move from the surroundings inside the cell. So in this way they fulfill their need for the water, and as these plants actively absorb salt in their roots, so there is another mechanism for the excretion of this salt, and this mechanism is present in their leaves. The leaves have special glands which actively excrete the salt from the leaf surface in the atmosphere, and some salt stick on their leaves, which helps to trap water vapors from the atmosphere, which is absorbed by the leaves in liquid form. So this is the another way of obtaining water by these plants. So characteristics: roots of these plants actively absorb salt, which result in the development of lower water potential in cells of the roots. This results in endosmosis of the water. Extra absorption of salts is excreted by the salt glands present on their leaves, and in some plants excreted salt on leaf surface helps in the trapping of water vapors from the atmosphere, which is being absorbed by the plant in liquid form. The example is glasswort. This is the figure of a glasswort, and this plant is present near the salt marshes. The third type is mesophytes, and mesophytes are the plants which grow in the well-watered soil like temperate zones. As these plants have not enough supply of water as compared to the hydrophytes, so these plants have cuticle on the stem and leaves to prevent the phenomena of transpiration, and also they have a phenomena of guttation, and this requires some guttation is the phenomena in which plant lose excess water, and also transpiration is a phenomena in which plant lose excess water, but there is a difference in between the two. Guttation is done by special pores called hydrophytes present in the leaves. and transpiration is done by special pores called stomata, which are present in the epidermis of leaves. Also in guttation, the plant lose excess water in liquid form, and in transpiration the plant lose excess water in vapor or gaseous form. So there are two differences. Remember that the guttation is by special pores called hydrophytes, and in guttation the plant lose water in liquid form, but in transpiration the special pores are stomata and the plant lose water in vapor form. So here is a text that in some plants transpiration rate is slow, so these plants lose water through special pores called the hydrophytes in liquid form, and this process is called the guttation. In this figure there is a phenomenon of guttation in which the plant lose excess water in liquid form through special pores called hydrophytes. The fourth type is xerophyte, and xerophyte are the plants which are found in the insufficient water supply, like in deserts. As these plants have insufficient water supply, so their characters are opposite to that of the hydrophytes to conserve water. For example, if this is the soil surface, some plants develop deep vertical roots for the better absorption of water, like acacia. Some plants develop superficial horizontal roots for the better absorption of water before the evaporation from the soil surface, and this is the example of cacti. Some plants reduce in the number of stomata to reduce transpiration. Sunken type of stomata, it is a type of stomata in which stomata sinks deep into the hypodermis. This is the leaf surface, and these are the epidermal cells. Normally stomata are present in the epidermis here. In fact, the epidermal cells specialized and become stomata, but in these plants stomata sinks into the hypodermis. Because transpiration takes place through stomata and there is no stomata in the epidermis, this results in the reduction of transpiration, hence conservation of water. Folding of leaves, hairy epidermis, reduced lamina size in spine formation, and these all result in the reduction of water loss. Some plants absorb water in their parenchymatous tissues, and these plants are called succulents. This is a cacti, and there are superficial horizontal roots present which absorb water from the surface of the soil before evaporation.